Another Sunday, another case of the Scaries Hysteria Work Week. Welcome to the newest edition of the Sunday Scaries. We have all your gore, lore, and more, covering all the latest horror happenings, slicing open all the latest horror news, and dissecting it bit by bit, finding all those juicy innards. Pour yourself a nightcap and turn your fright lights while we take you on a tour of terror. Uh-oh.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. And guess who's
Hello.
back from
Guess
his
who's
honeymoon? A very
Back again.
married man.
Look at him.
That's right.
He's taken,
his
folks,
stuff.
officially now.
That's right. Campers, dreamers, and babysitters. We are the wifecta now.
And newlyweds. Look at that.
It's very good. Very good. All good. What's going on, everybody? Smiley, what's happening? We got Penelope. What's going on, Rob? How's it going?
Everybody's here.
Rafnacom one. Happy Sunday, weirdos.
I wanted to say
What's
it.
going on, Violet? I'm sorry. You can say it as much as you want. Woot, woot. Welcome back, Adrian. Yep. Welcome back. Yep.
Preach,
How was
Penelope and Kim.
the trip, man? How was it? Fill us in a little bit. Has nothing to do with horror movies, but
Well, how many
I do
horror
wanna
movies
hear.
did you watch?
We tried to watch. I'm trying to remember the title of it because I'm a piece of shit. But there was one on. I remember I put it on, and instead some sitcom was on, like the channels weren't right or whatever. But it was what it is. What it was. I will say this though, and not to sound like you're generic, tourist or whatever, but we went to Cancun and we got to see Chichen Itza, which, if y'all know what that is, eighth wonder of the world, ancient Mayan ruins. The Mayans were really hip to sacrificing in order to get a good next year's harvest. They took us to this like little stadium place where they would play this game called Poke the Poke. They would like have two teams from two different like towns to compete, and the winner would get decapitated. So that way the gods would bless their town with a nice harvest. So I'm not gonna lie, looking at this pyramid, it has a really intimidating look. I don't know if that's just because I know what its history is, but it was pretty scary looking. So that was the most horrific thing that happened to me that week. Smiley, appreciate you asking. The wedding was lit, man. It was super busy. It was a lot, but once we opened up the dance floor and got the drinks flowing, it was just easy peasy, my man. So appreciate you asking. It was a blast.
there you go.
Nothing dirty, just Latin.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah, at least from my side of things, the wedding was a blast as well. Yeah, I had a good time there. It was definitely one of the more extravagant, I would say, weddings I've been to. So definitely I had a lot of fun, cool stuff going on. So, and this was my first time ever like being a part of it in like a function that wasn't just stand up here, smile, go sit down. It's like, that was it. So, and let's see what happens if you, that's what'll happen if you don't keep winning these video games, Adrian. Oh, geez.
Decapitate.
I wonder, you guys might know, but I wonder if there's a movie out there that kind of puts a modern spin on Poke to Poke with the sacrifices and everything.
You can write it. It's Poke to Poke coming this fall. We're gonna really play some soccer. The World Cup was just this year, so we're really gonna make use of that. Oh boy! But Luke, how was your week, man? I mean, it was a hectic one for us, I would say.
Oh yeah, we had a lot going on. I'm preparing a hidden gems list that's going to drop this week, so just having some fun there with some films that I just got to sit down and actually rewatch, and I hadn't seen in a very long time. So, of course, we had that. We had Evil Dead this past week, which made us extremely busy, and thanks everyone who was checking out our review. It kind of blew up more than I expected it to, so at least that one caught some fire. And I'll say Evil Dead Burn for me was a pretty big win, I think, but pretty divisive out there. I think it didn't do the numbers, at least last time I looked at the box office. So I don't know. I guess that's probably going to be a discussion going forward.
A movie was a huge piece of shit, and anybody who likes it is wrong.
Exactly.
Sorry, no, I'm kidding. It's been. We definitely, our review got out to a few more people than it normally does, because it's that movie's taken the beating in the comments, but it's also got a lot of defenders. There's been a lot of nice folks, but yeah, no, seriously, thank you guys so much for all the love and support this week. The videos have been doing just awesome, and truly, it feels really special to have this happen with Evil Dead because like we're all huge fans of that, and the fact that whenever we're big fans of stuff, it seems like it never produces with any of the videos, and basically every Evil Dead video we had across the channel this week just performed exceptionally well. So thank you all so much, and for that you're getting one more tomorrow morning. We'll be dropping tomorrow morning noonish. Still got to upload it, make sure we're good, but you're going to be getting a very special video involving some spoilers and some guests. So if you guys are fans of the old BSG, hint, hint, keep an eye out for
Familiar faces.
Familiar faces. But yeah, did you visit the Yep, that's what he was talking about.
Kukulkan. Yep. Kukulkan. I think that's what they call it. Yeah, dude, that's the one that I went to. And yeah, I got to do the clap at the base. It's pretty fun.
What's going on?
Clap at the
Obscura,
base.
welcome. Thanks for staying. Hey, I think that's super cool. I definitely would love to check out some of the Mayan pyramids and stuff like that. Like I've never been, I guess, like anywhere near South America. The closest I would say is like, I went to the Bahamas once, which is like probably the furthest off, like, I guess, North America I've been, because I've been to Canada. I have not been overseas. So, it's like I've stayed pretty landlocked. So, that's me. But I did want to mention this week, as well as with all of that going on, we did set up a couple of fun things that you guys are going to have access to on the Patreon here in the coming couple of days. We have a few interviews that I'm going to be dropping right away. I will say some of them are for Pinocchio, and we're getting to talk to a couple of really cool people for that, and as well as somebody who's very legendary in the industry, who's got a very big background with a lot of stuff we've been talking about recently on the channel. So that I'm really excited to get out to you guys, and I hopefully will have that out tomorrow night, if not Tuesday morning, on the Patreon. And then we'll be working it into our Pinocchio coverage as we inch ever so closely to that, or closer to that film's release. Now, Luke, have you watched it yet?
I have not yet. I'm gonna.
I have
watch
not
it.
either. Okay.
Yeah.
I said that to you yesterday, and I was like, okay, cool. Maybe this time will be good. But no, we both very busy. So
now we both got lists coming out. But I will say the person we're going to be talking to, a wild series of events, is that there's a smaller film that's going to be on an upcoming list. Not this one with hidden gems, but another one, and he actually worked on it. So it's like the opportunity, the stars are aligning, because I just had a couple questions about that film because it's not widely talked about, and I'm just excited to actually dive into that one because some of the things in that are really interesting. It only happens for a short time, but it's interesting, and it's an interesting take when we talk about H.P. Lovecraft kind of properties that have been made into actual films. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. I got a question. I'm a filmmaker, and would anybody be interested in checking out one of our movies? I can't guarantee that we could get to it right away, because usually we're actually coming right up on a festival with Fantasia. But if you do send one to the email in our description, that's just the best way to contact us. If you want to send us something over, we can definitely at least try to get around to it and offer some feedback. Yeah, I know we've done that a couple of times for people, so it's like whether we don't necessarily cover it on the channel, but we definitely will email and respond. And I know for some people, it ebbs and flows. It seems like whenever one of our videos absolutely like explodes, like it just seems like that's when we get a lot more people sending us stuff. They'll just discover the channel, and so sometimes it's like really easy to keep up on that, and then other times it'll be like, oh god, we had like 5 people send us their movies, and it's like I want to watch these and be nice, but we also got to do everything else for the channel. So it's like we will do our best, though. I can say that. We needed a good movie. Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed Evil Dead Burn quite a bit. Yeah, The Ruins was an interesting watch. I've actually I know this is completely unrelated. I am like halfway through the book. Still, like I stopped listening to it a couple months ago for no reason. I think I just forgot. But it is pretty interesting. I remember watching the movie and not being huge on it, but I was pretty young. Have you guys seen The Ruins?
I've seen it when it had come out on DVD, and I've only seen it the one time. I remember not being too big on it. I think from what I remember, I think maybe I was stuck on the CGI elements of it. I think
maybe some of the flowers and
Yeah,
the plants in the
so
hole,
I remember that takeaway of it, but I know it's been popping up more frequently on like people's, I guess, reevaluations of films. So I've been meaning to go back and watch that one. It's been on my watch list for a while. I just remember being underwhelmed that first viewing of it.
I have it on a list about like most like uncomfortable like horror sequences, like stuff that would just be literally the worst thing to feel or experience, like just uncomfortableness. And the idea of having vines and roots growing up under your skin is pretty up there for me. I don't like that at all. That sucks. So yeah, that's especially where it goes with it, where they start talking about how they go up into your brain and shit. No fun. I'm ready for Evil Dead Burn spoilers because I have a couple of gripes, but overall enjoyed it thoroughly. And I think we probably all feel the same way. It's like I think safely I can say that like we're all in the same boat here, where it's like we overall enjoyed the movie quite a bit. I mean, I think it's a very solid Evil Dead movie. I do have a couple of issues with it, and I think the only reason that I even feel comfortable stating that is because we've been eating so good with Evil Dead for so long that it's, you got to call balls and strikes. You know what I mean? It is a precious baby to all of us. It's a darling, but at the end of the day, the CGI in that movie for a couple of sequences wasn't great. Like, it's like I got to call what it is. So, that's really where I sat with it. But overall, I'm excited to watch it again.
Yeah, I think, the CGI, we talked about it in our review, is pretty jarring when you see it toward the end. I think that kind of makes the ending of the film miss something that some of the other ones that you kind of reminisce about. But overall, up until that point, it is a very crisp film, very polished, a lot of great camera work, and of course, an abundance of gore is what we would expect out of a film like that. I've mentioned it in everything that we've talked about. It checked all the boxes. Sebastian Vanacek, I always brings great tension with his camera work, and Evil Dead Burn is no different. So I think that CGI it's not necessarily a deal breaker. It's something that I'll probably come to terms with, especially as I can brace myself on rewatches and know what to expect.
I think it's been a pretty common criticism, and I know it's not all the time very mentioned, but sometimes they do make it a point to say, especially if something's being really panned, which I don't think this one necessarily is overtly panned. They do tend to go back and still clean up effects before home media releases these days. I know that's a pretty common occurrence. So I wouldn't be surprised if by the time this thing comes out on streaming or whatever, that it looks at least a little bit better. I'd hope. I just feel like there's something about that just feels off to me entirely. And I'm excited to figure out what it is if my theory is correct.
And it's interesting as well, because I had looked up a couple of interviews with Sebastian Vanacek, and there's an interview out there where he specifically talks about, meeting with the studio and everything like that, and not compromising on using CGI fire. He wanted to use real fire for the most part. So he didn't compromise on that. And he mentioned a little bit of a case where it's like they lost control of the fire for like 5 seconds. So it's like, it's interesting where he didn't want to compromise in that aspect of it. And then we see an abundance of CG at the end. So it does make you curious of who was making the calls at the end there and what exactly went down, because it's doesn't line up with what we know of Sebastian Vanacek and kind of what he wants to do in his vision.
Yeah, the only thing else I could consider, and I don't want to give too much away because again, it gets into deep spoiler territory for the film and it's still new. Could be reshoots, maybe. I mean, I think about some of the shots and where I think my biggest gripes are from it, and they do feel like they could have been reshot or filled in. They look very easy to do. So, I think we'll have plenty of time, many moons, to debate this, and
especially if they
into
release some extras and things like that.
Yeah,
and see what we can really get granular with it, especially as we get further removed from the film's release.
100%. Penelope, I caught up with Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Rather enjoyed it. It was disgusting, though. I actually watched the Mummy again this week. I watched it a couple months ago with Adrian in theaters when he was here, and then just watched it again after we did the video on it. I just was hankering for it after getting all the clips and stuff, and it's just, again, it's not an official Evil Dead movie, but I mean, it felt like one. The second one, especially with the Adrian, you're muted. especially with everything going on, you know, like with the new one out and all this. It's like, yeah, you really feel the Evil Deadisms come through that one.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
oh, so go ahead, Adrian.
Oh, I was just gonna agree. I was like, it, really felt like Evil Dead. And dude, the toenail scene, Dylan may remember. I verbally was like, "Oh!"
We
in the
both
theater,
did.
dude.
We both like shot up out of our seats and like audibly gasped because it was like you, me, and like because it was like a Tuesday or something random. Like it was the middle of the day on a Tuesday.
I don't even know if anybody else was in there.
I think it was like 3 other people, and they were like elderly people in the back. So it's like we just shot up out of our seats, like, oh my god, like it's so unexpected, but fantastic sequence.
That's actually the comment I was looking for, because I had the same reaction there. And it's like, not many things get me, but the toenail scene of where you just see everything kind of go up the leg, I was like, ugh, that is something you talk about right after the theater.
And you know what I like about that on rewatch? And I'm sorry this is slightly spoiling for The Mummy, but I like that toenail, like, piece of skin and paper, I guess, whatever you want to call it, cloth, is not like discarded. It's not just there for the throw. It's literally furthers the plot.
Yep.
And I think that's super well done. It's like, because that's so, it's like you watch these Blumhouse, like, again, Conjuring movies, things like that get really simple with it. And it's just like they would totally just be like, the gag is over, time to move on, and not even consider to just keep it going. And it's like, I appreciate little things like that. You know, it's like, and I think the way they handle the curse and the mummy in that, I love that. I think the way that works, I all of the stuff and how they explain it and how the mummy's curse is, you know, used. I like it a lot. It's very, very unique. So I'm going the full other way, honestly. Like I'm really starting to fall in love with the mummy.
It's a great film. You know, it's like you're saying, it really does kind of unravel the plot a little bit. But you know, it's I love that aspect of it and the way that they lean into it, that it's something different. I think that's always the discussion of it, where it's like, you know, we did the whole video on it where, hey, this isn't the Mummy properties that you're used to. This is something that is deeply in the horror space. And it seems like that is the continuing discussion. We'll get comments on some of our reviews and things that when we've talked about the Mummy about it still, where it's like, it's not action adventure, you know, it's something completely different. It's Lee Cronin's The Mummy. So coming out of Evil Dead Rise, I think there was a certain expectation. I think that's kind of what we're getting into right now with that discourse of, you know, we're losing the comedic slapstick elements of the original trilogy and we're getting into the more gory aspect of a lot of things. Dylan's on the hunt over there. But,
I know there's like the biggest fly ever just popped in the room from somewhere.
We've got a special guest here.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to get turned into the Brendel fly if I'm not careful.
I love it. But yeah, so it's like, you know, I think it's certainly an interesting discourse. And when we talk about comedy within the Evil Dead nowadays, I think when I go back and I watch the original trilogy, and you see the comedic aspects, I think it works so well with Bruce Campbell, you know, and I don't know how well it would work nowadays, because if you make someone into that kind of comedic element, I think everyone's going to say, oh, they're trying to make them the new Ash, you know, so it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't when you add that comedy, because Bruce Campbell's so good, and I think that's why those films work so well, that he'll be sorely missed if they tried to replicate the way that those films went.
You couldn't do a pure remake.
Yeah,
you could, like, recasting Ash is a stupid idea. It's like that's literally, that is like trying to, I guess I almost said Snake Plissken, but it's like, well, he's got his son, so it's like Wyatt Russell, and but like, you know what I mean? It's like that character's too synonymous.
And I'm not even.
It's like Freddy Krueger's damn near impossible.
And I'm not even trying. I'm not even talking about just a remake. I'm talking about, like, you know, when 2013 came out, they're like, oh, who's the new Ash? You know, it's like anytime.
We don't need it.
Yeah, anytime if you try to replicate the tone of those first films and add in more comedy, the comments, if we speak highly of it, the comments are gonna be like, they're no Bruce Campbell. And that's what you're going to get. It's not Bruce Campbell. And I think that's why you had to move away from the comedy aspects of it and get more into the brutality, because you just can't recreate the fun of.
It's like, how do you do have to kind of reinvent the wheel a little bit there with that franchise, where it's like, this is what we've known, this is what it is. And then, yeah, it's like, what do you do when you don't have your key component? Like when you don't have one,
you got to move away.
pieces.
You got to pivot. you know?
Yeah, and I mean, maybe 2013 they didn't necessarily have to, but I think they wanted to because, you know, they shortly afterwards, not shortly, but 3 years later, they would get the series where they bring back Bruce Campbell and everything, and they do what they wanted to do there. But like, I don't think the hunger or the drive to do another Ash Evil Dead movie was there yet. I think they were excited to do something a little different. So, you know, and we got to stop like pretending that there's ever been a huge plan. Like, I think that's part of what makes this work is that it's like they're just taking care of the pieces as they go. And it's very rare to get to say that with things, but I feel like Evil Dead, it makes sense to do that because it's like they're not, up until recently, they have not been doing this at a very like breakneck speed. Like, there has been decades between sequels. So it's like, you know, it takes a while. And let me catch back up here in the chat. Mr. Boone, I'm so stoked for the Fox and Buddy. I got tickets to see it in person at Fantasia Film Fest. It's going to be sick seeing Buddy Yule Log, Too Many Cooks director. Oh, fuck you, dude. Oh, my God. I'm so jealous. I'm so damn jealous, Mr. Boone, that you get to meet that. That's awesome. But, hey, I mean, at the same time, like, it's so cool to have a film festival that big in your backyard, like, within driving distance for you, dude. Like, take advantage. I know, like, since basically that came on your radar, I think a few years ago, you've attended most of them that we've attended when we do them virtually. So it's like, I say hats off to you, sir, and enjoy that. Just know I will be seething with jealousy if you get to ask Casper Kelly a question. So that'll drive me crazy. Get a video if you do. Hey, absolutely. I mean, it don't feel awkward. Like we feel awkward having to do that with our own shit when it comes to this. And just know we feel the exact same way. So like, you're good. If we can help get it out there, it's exactly, you know, it's like we're all helping each other. So, let's see. Of course, Rob, we ain't gonna do you like that. What's up, Toonies? Yes, it's very, very similar.
Autopsy of Jane Doe, fantastic.
I would too. All right, let me pop on down here. I'm actually gonna try to take care of this little. I'm gonna open the door for a second, so I'm gonna pop.
It's driving him crazy.
If you guys want to talk to a couple of the folks here real quick while I do that, it's just he's literally. It's because my light is right here, so he just keeps going directly towards it. It's like he's a moth. So give me one second.
Dylan's wanted to do some work over there.
Wanted to call back to Necromechanimal for the recommendation on the ruins. I'm definitely going to check that out. And somebody was saying Penelope was saying that I count it in the Evil Dead universe. Dude, it felt so much like the Evil Dead, the Mummy, that is. I mean, and it kind of had like the same vibes when they were talking about like where it came from, the origin story of how, you know, the Mummy came about. So I see what you're saying 100%. I'm
intrigued to see what Lee Cronin's going to do next. I don't think his next film has been announced, but to go from like Evil Dead Rise and then the Mummy that, you know, everyone says is a hybrid of Evil Dead and Mummy lore. So it's like, what's going to be the expectation for the next film? You know, because like Sebastian Vinicic came out and said he has an interest in doing something like a remake of The Mask or whatever, but with a horror spin on it, which is like, would be interesting. But I'm always curious of what these filmmakers are going to do after these bigger films like this. Because it's like, I think Lee Cronin was a little bit influenced with The Mummy because maybe there's an expectation to say, how gross can you get in your next film? So I want to see kind of how his trajectory goes, because it's like at some point I think you have to wash that away, and you can still do horror, but it doesn't have to be splattery horror, you know? So I'm just curious how everyone's going to, as we got into Evil Dead now, where it is gorier, and that's the expectation of when we go into these films, at least for a more modern audience who started with 2013. So it's like, Damien Leone is a Terrifier guy. At least right now he is. So that even when he steps away from Terrifier, I think maybe there might be an expectation there for his film. So it's like, what does Evil Dead do to the directors that are stepping away and going elsewhere? Yeah, that's a good point. I'm under a rock a bit more than you guys are. Has there been any talk on a sequel to this new Mummy movie? No, I don't think that was the case. I don't think it's going to be meant to be turned into any sort of franchise. I think this was kind of a one and done. They have the Brendan Fraser one coming out here in, I don't know if it's 2027. So the people who hated Lee Cronin's The Mummy because it was too horror based, I think you're going to get what you came for with The Mummy 4. So I don't think they're going to do anything with that. I don't know if they're interested in doing more with the Universal monsters, or at least their take on the Universal monsters. So I don't think we're going to expect anything else from the Mummy universe. I think that was more of a just one and done to see.
Yeah.
He had a vision and that's what we got. And I don't think we're coming back to do anything else with it.
True. And to keep on riding the Mummy train, I agree with you, Necro. Like, maybe what they were saying was, I mean, we know that the family was starting to get torn apart by the disaster that was upon them. So, you know, there's some discourse between the characters there, but it's 100% believable. I mean, you know, when something traumatic happens to your family, like, you know, your kid goes, something happens, dude, yeah, it can really put you through the ringer. And so, I mean, that's probably where I could see some people feeling like it's not believable or cohesive. But again, it was very circumstantial what was going on with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to get into, I guess, the head space of that, because what do they jump in the Mummy? Not to give away too many spoilers, but I can't remember. Isn't it? It's a wild amount of time, isn't it? Is it 8 years? I think, right? Because they have a daughter. She's pregnant at the very beginning. It's like an 8-year time jump. So it's kind of like they've kind of been dealing with this grief for such a long time. I felt like the family was, in terms of like that they weren't cohesive, was like, I feel like that is such a tough obstacle to get over, to maintain some sort of normalcy, that there's going to be some sort of distance within the family, because it's like at least the mom, dad, and son remember what the dynamic of the family was like before everything went down. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I don't think you'll ever find that normalcy again. So that's kind of how I always took it, this kind of disconnect, because I did feel the disconnect in the family, but I felt like it was supposed to be there.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, they're going through quite a bit at both times we see them in the movie, so it's quite a lot. And yeah, I think I got rid of him. I chased him out, but I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, we got him. Yes. No, I was doing awful things to him. No, I actually just ended up chasing him around with a Febreze bottle because I couldn't find, or like just trying to spray in his direction just to get him to go out. Thank you, dinosaurs for me. I love the dinos. Yep, which we did talk about that this week. I know that was a very small video for the splash of people. I understand that that's a very tiny portion of the audience that is into that. But thank you for humoring me. Thank you, Luke, for humoring me. I know you actually were very excited about the project overall. But we talked a little bit, Adrian, about a project called Dinosaurs of the Old West that's coming out from the people who did Primitive War, where it is literally a like future where dinosaurs and cowboys, like that's what you're watching there. It's like Red Dead Redemption with fucking dinos. It's gonna be great.
I dig it. I'm a fan. I saw something I wanted to respond to. Oh yeah, it was another Necro one. I could see why they don't want to put, okay, I'm a super noob, right? But I feel like they probably don't want what happened to 20, I'm so bad with names. 21 years later, 20 years later. Hold on, bro.
28 years
later. God, dude, I'm super bad. I'm sorry. But anyway, they probably didn't want what happened to 28 years later to happen to Evil Dead, man. That would have really sucked if Wrath came out like maybe even next year and it didn't perform as good as Burn. That would suck.
Oh, I thought this was coming out next year. Did they push this? No, it's coming out in 2028. I thought it was 2027.
I always thought it was 2028.
Maybe I'm just wrong.
At least from my take here, I feel like they don't want to oversaturate things where it's like, hey, we had one come out. We don't want this to become the Saw franchise where it's like expect one every year. So it's like, yes, we're getting into this certain trajectory where we're going to get them more frequently, but I don't think their goal is going to be once a year. And for me, I'm eager to see Wrath, but I don't need to see it that quickly where it's like by the time that Burns out, I want to sit with that one. I want to rewatch it. Same way I did with Rise, you know. So then I can kind of fully calibrate my expectations for Wrath, because I do have a high expectation for Wrath, but I want to just watch Burn a few more times. So I don't think they're interested, even if it could be done for 2027. I don't think they're interested in releasing it for 2027, just because that'd be such a short turnaround for, okay, here's another one.
No, I want it right now.
Of course you do.
It's like, if they don't give it to me right now, then I will I'll turn in my Evil Dead card. Nah, I'm kidding. It's so worth, like, when I saw Fixed seeing Jindy and So Damn Cool, and hearing him talk about animation afterwards was crazy. Slept on Fantasia so hard, shame. Yeah, that's one we're still not 100% confirmed on if we're going to be able to see or not, but we're hoping. So
yeah, I'm really waiting on that one because I really want to see it. I've heard really good things about it. At least if you are familiar with Jane Showbrun, then you kind of know probably what to expect with that film. So,
and then I hear they're talking about making a Mask movie, like Jim Carrey Mask, but evil. Yeah, that was apparently what Sebastian Vinicic wants to do next. He does not want to do like a pure horror film next. He wants to do more of an action movie, and he wants to do like an action spin on The Mask that's a lot closer to its counterpart, or its comic book counterpart, which is a little bit more sadistic, I guess you'd say. Is that accurate, Luke?
Yeah, I thought that he wanted to have a horror tinge to it, because doesn't it also, it is kind of horror based, I think. I don't know 100%. But yeah, we had heard that as well, in terms of, it would be interesting, because I mean, we all know the Jim Carrey version. I grew up with the Jim Carrey version, and it's a great comedy. But to have a different spin on a film like that, because when you think about it, man, it could be very action heavy, it could be very horror heavy, depending on which way you wanted to go with it. It could be a really interesting story, because we're so used to the comedic spin on it.
The Mask is an American comedy horror comic book. You are correct. So there you go. It does classify itself as horror. I did not know that. I thought, because you're talking to a couple of friends over the weekend who said that he was saying that he wanted to pivot away from horror. So I thought it was going to be right away. But all right, that's cool. I will take it. I like it. Yep, I'd appreciate how much time passed in the movie, processing trauma, moving on. Yeah, no, it definitely gives you time. You didn't like Burn? All right, Stephanie. Well, I'm sorry, you got to get out of here now. We can't hang out. I'm kidding. Now, it's all understood. I get it. Like, it's not going to work for everybody, and I think I knew that 5 minutes into the movie. Honestly, there was one shot that happens right after the cold open and everything, where I'm like, I know people are going to write this movie off just because of this. And it's like, you guys know what I'm talking about. So it's like, it's like, that's what it is. But so if you like it, love it, hate it, it doesn't matter to me. So it's like, I'm just glad you went and supported it. Wrath is a prequel. It would be cool to have the X-Pearl treatment. Yes. I think that one is definitely going to be a very lore heavy film, hopefully. Saw, have you
I didn't know that.
Ever spent the entire day watching every single one back to back?
No,
I have
never.
not. No, I wouldn't do that to myself. What's up, Rook? How's it going? Like a mask that gives you the set. Jesus, no.
That would be wild.
That would be too much. They still need to sell it. Horror mask would be cool. Hell yeah, hell yeah. What's happening? Hello, Paula. What's going on? Well, that is all of the comments, questions, concerns for the moment. So I think, why don't we hop on into the news, fellas? Does that sound like a good idea?
Absolutely.
Let's freaking do it, sir. And Luke, what are you serving up for us first?
Well, let's start with some VHS news. After exploring aliens, demons, and every kind of nightmare imaginable, the VHS franchise is diving into one of the internet's most fascinating horror creations with VHS SCP. The film will bring the massive SCP Foundation universe to the big screen through recovered footage and containment breach stories, a format that almost feels tailor-made for the anthology series. For years, SCP has existed primarily through fan fiction, online archives, and podcasts, making this the biggest adaptation the mythology has ever received. The possibilities are nearly endless, with thousands of strange creatures, cursed objects, and cosmic horrors that could finally be brought to life. Is the SCP Foundation the perfect next evolution for VHS, or is the mythology simply too massive and complex to fit into a single horror anthology film?
I had no idea what the SCP Foundation is. As you were talking about it, I looked it up and I'm in, bro. This sounds lit.
SCP was something we almost covered, Luke. It was going to be in the second list because if you guys don't know, a video they got completely buried with everything going on with like Obsession and all that. So we were talking about Backrooms and other, analog horrors, things like that could be, I guess, brought to the big screen. This was one I almost put on there, but this is honestly next to Mandela Catalog just because of the complexity. I did not think this was going to get an adaptation anytime soon, but this is insane. I love this. I think that the VHS team handling this is the perfect match for this kind of stuff. Did you look into this, Luke, the SCP?
I dipped my toes into it. I got excited about it, just like I did with some of the creepypastas. Got my creative brain spinning once again. So I really like the stories that are involved here because it's such a wide span of things. We're not just zeroing in on aliens or creatures or anything. You have a wide mix of things that are pretty self-explanatory, but then you have like the sheaf of paper. You know what I mean? So it's like kind of, you have a very big mix of really anything that you could think of. And while we talk about this, the mythology is huge because it has been around for a long time. A lot of contributors to the mythology of it. But when you look at it, I think that opens up the doorway to say there is a clear voice here. We know the direction that we can go in, but it doesn't have to be verbatim based on one of the already established lore. So someone, I think a director or creative can come in, be like, okay, I can take some of the connective tissue that already exists out there and make my own thing. So it's like, we're not going to go in for a regurgitation of something we've already listened to. It's going to be maybe in the spirit of, because the SCP Foundation covers a wide range of things. And that's why I'm excited about this, because it could really be anything. We could have a verbatim segment about it, or we could have something that is in the spirit of and completely does its own thing.
Yeah. Oh man, Kim took the words right out of my mouth. This is an inspired collaboration / crossover. I completely agree. I think this is, I didn't think they'd have anybody would have the balls to touch something like this. Because again, the problem that I see with Hollywood when they adapt these things, and they only work really well with things, the Backrooms is like an anomaly, I think, because you have the original creator right there, and sometimes that doesn't even work, but it just worked out for him. And then you have things like Exit 8, which is like kind of a horror game that deals with liminal space and stuff like that, that they take a completely different approach and tack things on there and add a story and stuff, and that's cool. I just feel like some of these are so broad in the concept. They are so like, we're just giving you little pieces here and there, and I know that's the whole point, and that is the whole like fun of these. But like the fact that this is just right where this team is headed, it's like this could not have been a better like pick as far as like if they wanted to adapt any of these. Like I know people are like, ooh, they should do VHS the Backrooms and stuff like that. And it's like, sure, but like this makes so much more sense when you look at the VHS like lineup of films anyway. Like they always have very weird, monsters, creatures, concepts, they dip into everything. So this is perfect for them.
And, I'm intrigued because we've had discussions with a couple of friends of ours that are in the YouTube space in terms of what VHS installment, what they were going to tackle next, and I think everyone's head was they're clearly going to do some sort of holiday because we just
Christmas.
came off Halloween. Yeah, I was like, I think a lot of people were thinking Christmas, and they were going to do some sort of holiday-based VHS. It's funny that Backrooms has done so much in terms of numbers at the box office right now and created a lot of buzz, and then we get this announcement. So I feel like maybe they were kind of waiting to see where to go next, and then as soon as Backrooms came out, to be like, okay, well, let's try our hat at doing something like this, which is pretty marketable. This one's, from what I heard, was going to be in the theaters when this is released. So that's interesting because we're so used to these going straight to Shudder. So I think you kind of have that. Hey, this is going to be in the spirit of backrooms. And I don't think, VHS backrooms for me would get so monotonous in terms of like, visually we're seeing very similar things, where SCP Foundation, like I said, the mythology is so wide that just because we're tackling this particular subject doesn't mean that each different segment is necessarily going to feel like they're all related, because we can go all over the place with this.
Yeah, I mean, my head's just racing on all the little ideas they could do and who they're going to bring on to do this, like director wise. Like, I'm very curious to see what names are going to come up, especially with this one being theatrical. Like, forgive me, I don't know. The first two VHS movies, were they theatrical releases?
I think they may have been. I know
limited.
I don't think that this is like the first time a VHS has been in the theaters as a release. I think they were limited, obviously, but I think at least since Shudder has been producing them, I feel like they've been straight to streaming.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Thinking about it now, it's like somebody would argue that they all have theatrical runs because they usually play at these festivals towards right before they premiere. But yeah,
splitting hairs, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So has had a brief limited run. After an initial premiere at the Sundance 2012 Film Festival, while traditionally a streaming VOD first franchise on Shudder. Okay, so this is already updated too with it. So it says the first one went to theaters. Everything else after that was streaming or VOD or direct to DVD. And then after that, like as it's gone on, they're saying that future installments do plan to go directly to theaters before going. So that's huge. I mean, that just shows like this franchise like has just come such a long way. And honestly, I think some of their best work has been in this since the reboot, basically since like 94. Like, I think that's really, or 95, whenever they did the first 91, whenever they did that, like that's when everything really started to ramp back up, in my opinion.
And interesting enough, like you said, who are they going to bring on for this one? If this is going to be a theatrical release, and I'm assuming it's going to be wider than what we've seen in the past. Mm-hmm. And what we know from VHS is that they tend to go with a lot of more up-and-coming directors, creatives that haven't really had a feature-length film or not many feature-length films. So we don't know what to expect, but we're giving everyone a voice. You can really look at the VHS franchise and say, man, this is where a lot of people have gotten their start, their big break, and then have actually had a trajectory in terms of directing films. Does that change? Does that dynamic change to be like, well, we have to make money at the box office, so we have to try and get some very notable headliners for this, rather than, okay, it's screenwriters that are going to try their hand at directing for the first time, because do we lose that spirit with VHS if it does become straight theatrical releases? And it's like, hey, we have to get some of the usual suspects back in horror so that we can market this and people will go out to the theater to see it.
Yeah, that is a good point. I didn't consider that in all my excitement, that we might lose some of that charm to it. So I don't know. I feel like and it's weird to say, it's kind of the goal, I think, for most people nowadays, especially filmmakers and things, to really want to get their stuff in theaters. But like VHS, to me, it's like, I like the idea of this one being in theaters. I don't know if I like the idea of having to go to the theater to see every single one, because I'm not going to lie. I like, I mean, we get the screener, but I do like, waking up the day a new VHS movie's on Shudder and getting to watch it and seeing everybody light up on everything. Like, I know it'll be back to the theater and that's fun and stuff, but like, it felt kind of, it does feel a little like we're losing
DIY punk rock.
Yeah, little, we're losing some of the intimacy there,
Yep, and that's what, because we saw VHS Halloween early. We got the screener for it, but I still, as soon as it was released on Shudder, I turned it on and watched it. We did
the same thing with 85 too.
And I like having that accessibility to it. And yeah, I'll go to the theater to see this. I just don't know if it'll be the same experience. It might feel that intimacy might be a little bit gone for, having to go to the theater to see it, rather than just being able to boot up Shudder and be like, man, I can watch this now, and then in 2 days, if I get the urge again, just like with VHS Halloween, I'll go back and watch some of my favorite segments. Now we kind of have to wait. And if we lose that spirit of getting some newer directors to have their voice out there, man, I think we could lose its identity. Even if it is good, we would lose something that makes VHS special. So who knows? I'm curious to see what the lineup's going to be. I hope they go with some uh, younger up and coming talent just to see what they're going to do. I think the wraparound, have someone like David Bruckner come in or something, it's like a bigger
That would
name
be cool to have a veteran come in to do the wraparound and then really bring in some, because that would be somebody who's done, like you said, David Bruckner, I think has done multiple like installments too. So like somebody like that who's been on the project for a long time. Adam Wingard coming back would be kind of cool to do something like that, I think. So
even if you got like in one of the segments was a heavy hitter. I remember, when they had Mike Flanagan's name attached to writing one of the was that VHS Beyond, and that was kind of a big thing. Looking at it, so it's like you could do something like that as well. Maybe if there are 4 segments, one slotted for a really big name, so we can kind of sell it. You know how they always do the produced by and all that stuff for Candyman. It was like kind of Jordan Peele's film, but like that kind of thing to attach a name, and then everyone else can. You sprinkle the horror dust on everybody else and get their names out there. But I guess we'll have to see. I'm curious how the marketing's going to go and what this is going to look like for VHS in the future.
I agree. Adrian, you're a relatively new VHS fan. So what do you think of this collab?
I have nothing but excitement for it. Now kind of reading up on the SCP Foundation and seeing some of their concepts on Wikipedia, I'm extremely excited for this. I was very enamored by the back rooms once it started going viral. It kind of became like, a classic thing to talk about and watch YouTube videos of between me and my brothers. So, I'm big hype, man. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, it's I think like Kim said, after the recent success of YouTubers and theaters, everything with a following is going to get a theatrical release. Unfortunately, that is probably true. I think for better and for worse. I mean, we have a very small following here. We thank you guys so much for all that and everything. But like that, it has always kind of been in our minds, I guess, as up and coming, aspiring filmmakers that, this is the way to do it these days, is to, not necessarily build a following to make a movie, but get your name out there a little bit so you can start getting ideas and concepts and things out there. And that's kind of, I think this is almost going to like streamline it. I think is make it a little bit less of it's going to be a little less special in like a decade. I think it's not going to, it's like everybody, is like, they've been saying it for a while, but like everybody who's a filmmaker in 10 years is going to have a YouTube channel or have had one or done something of note, whether they kept at it at 10 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers. Like it's all going to be there.
Yeah. And and I think that's kind of something, looking at like the back rooms and looking at Obsession. They have such a different voice than what we've seen, I think, over the past few years in horror. And we talked about it, I think, in both those reviews and discussions we've had, where Game Parsons, Curry Barker, they are so in tune with getting direct feedback from their audience and knowing how to alter their content when there is some sort of criticism to reach everyone. So it's like, I'm curious. I think that's going to be the new version of horror, at least coming out over the next few years, to say, we have this, we have an audience, we have a direct connection to the audience, and we can kind of go out and tell these stories. And we know at least, hey, we're jumping on Curry Barker. We know what his audience expects with the short films, things like that. So Obsession's going to be a home run because he has that kinship with his audience, So it's like, I think studios might start looking at YouTubers to be like, where are their minds at? What are they into? And then we can kind of almost curate what we want to do, what YouTubers we want to give a shot to in terms of like a bigger release in the theaters. And I don't know. We'll have to see where it goes. Horror's in an interesting spot, certainly.
Everything's 1,000%. In an interesting spot right now. I mean, look at what's happening, fellers. Like, we got a new Evil Dead movie in theaters. We got movies being made by YouTubers making $1 billion. Not really, but they're making a lot of money. We got motherfucking The Odyssey coming out, and people think that it's woke and dumb. It's like, this is the world we're living in right now. We got 420 Slayer 3 here saying 28 inches later sucked.
No pun intended.
And let me
Or
tell you,
was it intended?
let me tell you, this is the kind of fella right here. This kind of talk is why they gave Samson a loincloth in 28 Days to Bone Temple. And I want you to know that I hate you all for that. Okay? So bring back the Schmeat cut. Bone Temple, the more bones cut.
We needed more.
Next
Facts.
story. That was the transition.
Facts. Skittles said it best.
All
right, Luke.
What's happening next there, Luke?
But do you guys have any preferences to where we want to go? The VHS was certainly the one I wanted to start off with, but I don't know if you guys had any dogs in this fight.
Can we you know what? Let's the shorter one is going to be Buddy. Let's do that because it's only like 41 seconds.
Yeah.
So I think we can kind of quick and then we'll do the soulmate.
All right, let's hit it.
I have a lot more to say about that one. So.
Okay. All right, let's hit it. What if your favorite childhood TV mascot wasn't there to make you smile, but to trap you in a nightmare instead? That's the twisted premise behind Buddy, the latest film from Too Many Cooks creator Casper Kelly, a filmmaker known for turning nostalgia into something deeply unsettling. With a murderous unicorn mascot, a surreal children's show setting, and a cast led by Keegan-Michael Key, this looks like one of the most bizarre horror movies of the year. Early reactions suggest it's equal parts horror, comedy, and pure chaos, which makes it nearly impossible to predict how general audiences will respond. Could Buddy become the next cult horror sensation, or is its strange experimental approach simply too weird for mainstream audiences?
Hell yeah. I mean, I'm just learning this, but apparently this movie was shot in our backyard.
Where was
this
that?
was shot in Cleveland.
Really?
Oh.
So that's interesting. Apparently they had a premiere at the Cleveland International Film Festival.
Well,
Which
damn.
I didn't even know we had. So I guess
I
there's-
didn't know that was still going on. I went ages upon ages ago. But yeah, I didn't know that they would be playing that there. That's interesting.
Yeah, I guess it happened in April. So where were we? I don't know. But hey, it's coming to Fantasia, and then it should be out shortly. Yes, Death to Smoochie. This is where my head went.
Love it.
And I have only seen that movie one time, and I've been
It's
wanting
fantastic.
to rewatch it because it's been forever. And like, yeah, it is. I remember it just being the weirdest, like, because I wasn't like really. I guess I was a little young to like really have satire and shit kind of like hit me. It's like I was like, what is wrong with Robin Williams in this movie? He's so mean. But it's like, no, it's great. Like I'm excited to revisit it, and I've been getting a hankering since I've been seeing all the Buddy posters and posts and everything about it. Like it looks great.
I think it has. So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was about to say I think it has some blockbuster potential. It's given off a little bit of Five Nights at Freddy's vibes. I like the fleshy whatever that was behind the hole in the one shot in the trailer. It definitely is kind of leading on that what might be behind the costume could be creepier than some may speculate. It looks super cool, and I like the kind of fuzziness that the shots and the scenes in the trailer had. It kind of gives me like that Backrooms-esque vibe. I noticed that there was a little bit of fuzz going on with the shots in that movie.
It seems like it's shot on VHS or like shot on like really low rate film.
Yeah, I dig it, man. I like that shit.
Yeah, I think it looks really like the thing that caught me off guard is if you pause the trailer, and I've been doing this lately because like since we kind of fell into doing these topic videos, you guys started blowing those up for us. Unless we're talking about dinosaurs, but I had half a mind to do this, so whenever a trailer drops now, I just download it and then I start like looking to see like just in case if we want to do something. I'm like, I got stuff prepped for thumbnails, trying to be ahead of the game a bit. I have been meaning to freeze frame through this little 42-second thing because I don't know if you guys caught it. There looks to be some messed up, whether it's stop motion animation, something in a couple of these that I am very eager to see what's going on there because I think there's going to be a lot of body horror in this movie.
Yeah, I think Bloody Disgusting had a if we're talking about the same thing, it's like looks like a ventriloquist dummy that's all bloody. I think Bloody Disgusting in their article had a screenshot of it. It looks like almost like Howdy Doody covered in blood. But I'm excited for this one. We've heard about it. This was at a festival ages ago, escaped us, so it's been on my radar for a very long time. And when you look at the cast, Keegan Michael Key, I mean, you have Topher Grace, Michael Shannon, Patton Oswalt, Casper Kelly, directing after Fun Size. I think we were all on board after seeing Fun Size to say, okay, well, what's Casper Kelly going to do next? And we already knew Buddy had been announced, so it was like very intrigued to see what the spin here is on this demented unicorn. If this was in lesser hands, I might not be interested. I'm curious on where you guys are at in terms of like just childhood nostalgia in the horror realm, where before I was very eager to see a lot of different takes on it. And it seems like we're not getting necessarily an overabundance of it, but it seems like it's way more frequent now. And after something like Mr. Crockett, where that kind of, for me, hit everything that I wanted in childhood nostalgia becoming with that horror spin, do you think we're jumping the shark a little bit? Do you think this is kind of, in terms of this subgenre, if that's what we're going to call it, with it, after maybe Buddy, we're going to get a little bit tired of this? Because how many times can we do demented child's character such and such? I mean, I'm not against it. It has to be really intriguing. Like this one, Casper Kelly in the cast sell it for me. But if this was in lesser hands, I don't know how I would feel about it.
As a casual, I don't feel like this would turn me away.
I think of anything with this being Casper Kelly, like you said, I think this is not the project that's going to do that to me, but I'm afraid of what movies will come because of this one being probably the biggest exposure. Because like Mr. Crockett, although had a nice splash in the horror space, more people discovered that movie the next October.
Yeah,
I think than they did even when it first came out. And I imagine this October it'll be even more. So, but I think like the thing that's at least been nice for me from the ones I've seen is like we're not repeating the same thing over and over again. We, to a degree, yes, Mr. Crockett is the human Mr. Rogers type kind of host. This is more going like the Barney kind of thing, I guess. And I think as long as they keep that, and keep the story interesting and how they're going to frame it and how they're going to bring it to us, that I think you can do over and over again as long as you bring some soul to it and have an idea there. But like, yeah, I won't necessarily get tired of it unless it's just a lazy approach. If it's I just had a flash of that damn movie, the Bear movie, the one they sent us the bear for.
Oh, Imaginary.
Yes, if it's like that, then yeah, no. It's like, because that felt like they were using that felt like what I'd be worried about, them using the nostalgia, because all the marketing was like, oh, it's the old Bear commercials and everything. It's like, no. I'll be worried about it if we start getting that way. But this has me so damn excited.
Yeah, and that's what's like, director cast for me sells it 100%. And I've talked about it a few times. I'm a big pro wrestling fan, so I remember the Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse, and him kind of doing this childhood demented child TV show character to portray his much darker character later on. And it was done so well. And I remember having Dylan, you came over and I was like, watch the segment, because I was like, someone needs to do something like this in terms of a horror film. And we hadn't got anything at that point. So this was like, it felt so original, felt so fresh and new. And then it kind of started rolling out of the childhood nostalgia in the horror space. And I was like, okay, well, we're getting some of it. And then Mr. Crockett came out, and I think I even referenced Bray Wyatt in that.
I think you did, yeah.
In that, because I was like, this has the feels that I wanted. So, and when you look at Buddy, I think it opens up. It feels like a little bit like Mr. Crockett, but I love the the unicorn and where they can go with this. This feels like it might get a little more expansive than something like Mr. Crockett. So. Yeah. And I'm curious to see what they're going to do. Like after Fun Size, I mean,
literally taking the words out of my mouth. I was about to say, look at how Fun Size, like how deep we went in there. Like, I mean, we were watching motherfuckers get turned into Halloween candy. Like, that's I didn't expect that at all.
With such a dark twist, you know what I mean? Like, he did, and I'm
laughing my ass off the entire time. Like, I hate it. I did think Necro brought up a great point here. Frankie Frico, for at least you and me, I know, was a pretty big disappointment. Not like a huge like end all be all disappointment, but like it did not. It was one of those that did not hit on that. It felt like it was very derivative of the kind of stuff that we've seen to enjoy when they do this, like Mr. Crockett, hopefully Buddy, Fun Size, all that. So killer Mr. Rogers movie would be fire. Mr. Rogers is all friendly in face, but eating your kids in eating children, Mr. Rogers, is very scary. That's good.
That would be really scary. I like that.
Which, I mean, we have Ice Cream Man coming out in a few weeks. I don't know exactly what that looks like, because, I mean, interesting. What do they say? And I think in that trailer, you have to cut his head off or something like that. So,
yep.
Is he a demon?
No, you have to chop him up or something. You have to literally like chop him apart.
So it's like we're getting some supernatural texture there with an Ice Cream Man. So I don't know. We'll see what we get.
Yep. Oh, which I guess we can say we put in for our screener for that. So we should be able to get that. I believe the embargo lifts the Monday before the movie comes out. So, and hopefully, cross our fingers, we'll get a fun interview for that. That one, we're also poking around for some stuff. The next couple of weeks will be kind of weird. So, I mean, if you're not subscribed to the Patreon for that, I know not everybody loves the interviews and stuff. They like the uncensored content. It'll be on there, so enjoy if you can. We appreciate it. It's more for us anyway. We just get to talk to people we like. So, what's up, Billy Bob? What's happening? Welcome. Alrighty. Well, I think that's everything I gotta say pretty much about Buddy. Or anything final thoughts before we move on to the next
Killer Unicorn? Let's do it. 100%.
Oh yeah, I'm down for it.
Andy's orange. Come on.
He's got a heart.
Love orange.
Underrated color, but
love it. But yeah, I think this next one is it's gonna be quite a topic. So Luke, why don't
long
you
time
get
coming.
us in there?
Yep. All right, let's hit it. The Megan universe is expanding again, but this time it's trading killer dolls for a seductive AI nightmare straight out of a 90s erotic thriller. Soulmate follows a grieving man who creates the perfect companion, only to discover that love and obsession can become deadly when artificial intelligence gets involved. With Evil Dead Rise star Lily Sullivan leading the film and Blumhouse promising an unhinged blend of satire, technology, and desire, this could end up being one of the strangest horror releases of the year. The bigger question, though, is whether audiences are ready for a sexy, campy techno thriller set in the Megan universe. So is Soulmate a surprisingly clever expansion of this franchise to bring it back to life? Or after the controversy that is Megan 2.0, will this one be doomed?
I really liked Companion. I thought it was a very good movie. And I'm just surprised we're talking about it again. I thought, it came out last year. We don't usually do this, but hey, it's here. I guess we'll talk about it. So yeah,
it's good. It's getting a re-release.
It is getting a re-release. It's happening sooner than I thought. Completely new cast or a remake, I guess. Who knows? That would have been mean of me to really make that my talk about this. But how I think where everybody else is going, and certainly where my head went, because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do my homework. I and Adrian both watched this trailer about 5 minutes before this started, because we put it on the Sunday Scaries. I even put the thumbnail together today, and I completely forgot that we were talking about this. This is being put out by Atomic Monster and Blumhouse, and they are responsible for Obsession in some degree. This movie looks like it's just verbatim. Like, there are scenes, there are shots, there are lighting cues that look so fucking similar to Obsession. Like, it's borderline like plagiarism. Like, it's some degree. Like, Jesus Christ.
I don't know, man. I mean, I didn't really watch any of the Megan, so I'm very unqualified on this topic, but I don't know. It just didn't really grip me.
Yeah, I don't know really what to think of this one. Just because it's been so touch and go with it in terms of is it getting released at all, or is it going to go to theaters, or is it going to streaming? And now we kind of get this answer. It's going to go to streaming. I don't even know where it's going on streaming in August, but
I believe it's Peacock.
Okay. This one, I'm all for the expansion of the universe. I think I was a little more on board, like a lot of people were prior to Megan 2.0, but I think the Megan franchise is kind of dead in the water right now, for at least for a few years after what we witnessed in the theater there. So I like this pivot. I just don't know if this concept is original enough to say, hey, this is what's going to save this universe. Because I know the discourse has been, if you look at the comments like on Bloody Disgusting, they're like, oh, this is just obsession with AI. So that could be a plus or a negative with how big Obsession was. Are more people interested in something like this because they're going to click on it on Peacock and say, this kind of sounds like Obsession, so let me see what they're going to have in where they're going to take the story. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as polished and have that kind of social commentary that Obsession does have, because it's like, yeah, Blumhouse Atomic Monster are in some way responsible for Obsession, but not, they can, from what I know, they came in afterward. So it's kind of like they didn't really, in the creative process, they didn't have too much. So this one, I'm a little more concerned considering the track record there of what they can do. I'm all for a pivot in the universe. I just don't think this is going to be the thing that man, we got back on the Megan train.
I was about to say, I'm like, this is not. I don't think this movie is anything, or even gonna feel anything like Obsession, other than those handful of lines and the way that they cut it. It really feels like this is just a studio leaning on what's attractive right now.
Yeah.
And that's why, especially with something going straight to streaming, they don't give a fuck. Why would they care?
I think they're trying to get as many eyes on this as possible. It'll be like, okay, we already got them. So they already gave it a watch, and that's all we're going to get out of them at that point. So it's like, market it like Obsession. People will click on it. People will watch it. And then who cares what it's going to look like after that? Because, it's going to go straight to streaming. So you don't have to worry about that theatrical release.
Soulmate, Mr. Boone, we're talking about Soulmate.
Mm-hmm. It's did you see You Are Not My Mother, Luke, the director's first film?
Not that I recall. Let me look it up though.
It's Kate Dolan is the director. I feel terrible for her and anybody else who's been attached to this.
No, I have not seen this.
Okay, I was curious. It was 2021, so I wasn't sure. But like, this is crazy to me that this is like.
Have you seen this? Is it good?
No, I have not. No, that's what I was just curious. Has anybody in the chat seen You Are Not My Mother from 2021? It was their first film. And I bring that up just because it's like I feel so bad for them, because like, obviously coming from a movie like that, which it's very low budget, nothing against it obviously at all, but it's just like getting to jump on a big property like this, a spin-off of a movie like Megan at the time when you sign on, like, that's huge. That's fucking massive. And now it's been in limbo for God knows how long. They don't have any other movies on their docket right now, it looks like, from their IMDb. So this has been the project they've been stuck in for years. And now it's just getting kicked onto streaming, and they're making it look like another horror movie that with semi-similar, tones and themes, just to hopefully make a couple of bucks. So I just, this sucks. Like, I feel bad for everybody involved here.
Yeah, because this was announced, wasn't it, prior to Megan 2.0? Like, this was already a thing before we had even seen Megan 2.0, I think. So looking at just this film in general, it's lived through the debacle that was Megan 2.0, the companion release, and now Obsession. So it's like there are so many things that are being like, man, this film seems snake bitten from the very start of it. So I'm curious. I don't expect this one to be any sort of hidden gem, but hey, surprise me. It's like,
I hope. Yeah, I mean, that's all we can hope for.
I already have Peacock, so I'll give it a watch, certainly. Maybe we can get a screener for it and get it out early. I don't have a high expectation for this, just because of the studio involved and how repetitive this seems from everything that we've seen in the past. And it doesn't seem like it has its own voice. So I don't know. I'll give it a watch, but the bar for this is going to be set very low.
I know. It's like, I thought this was an uphill battle again, like I joked about with Companion. And it's like, I thought them marketing it and making it not look like that was going to be the hurdle like this, but for them to go like this and just completely mismatch it, it's like, God, because like it if you go back to even like what the description is, it's like it's not even close. Like it's not, the only thing that is similar about these two is basically their subservience to a male counterpart, but one is supernatural, one is literally an android. So it's like, if anybody's going in there expecting anything like that, they're going to be sorely disappointed. And I think the thing that's going to suck is that like it just shows me already where the dollar signs are and where studios, even the studio that, at least helped distribute that movie that's such a success, is like, we're going to ride this out for everything we got, and we're going to milk this cow until all the udders are dry, baby. We're going all the way.
They're going to ask if they can do a presented by Curry Barker on this one too.
Curry Barker presents Soulmates. No, well, what it would be is Curry Barker would come out and he would give a review saying that Soulmates is the best horror movie he's seen in the last decade. And then a year or two after that comes out, he'll be in an interview and be like, I just got paid for that. Like, that's just what it is. So
yeah, this one, I just don't feel like it's going to be like weird or risky enough to do anything that's going to feel overly authentic or unique to leave us walking away saying, man, people do have to check out Soulmate. I fully expect this one to just kind of be very cookie cutter and things that we've seen in the past, very derivative. It's not going to be anything very original and mind-blowing, unfortunately. So I think they're just throwing this one out because it's been made and you might as well at this point. So like I said, the bar is going to be low, and I think it's going to be pretty forgettable by the end of the year.
I agree. You know what's weird though? I just was reading through their notes here as we're talking again, and the director is talking about how it's like they were approached to make this movie where it was a basically like an erotic thriller set in the Megan universe.
Yeah.
So she approached it like that with a lot of like really dark and kind of really not like shying away from not really shying away from some of the like abuse, trauma, all that. But then you look at the R rating and it says for strong violence, gore, sexual content, and graphic nudity and language. So it's like graphic nudity, I feel like doesn't get put on a lot of things, does it? That's interesting. I don't know what the fuck that's going to be.
Maybe it's just like an abundance, maybe? I don't know, because it's maybe AI.
When robot titties don't count.
Exactly. It's like Jason X.
When I say graphic, it's kind of like, to me, it's like I think like it's going to be real evil stuff. Like, you know what I'm talking about, like that. And it's like, I don't even, did Obsession, did they label that as graphic nudity?
Good question. I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess maybe it depends on the context as well.
I know, that's what I'm thinking, because it's like that might point to where the tone of this movie is going to fall at the end of the day. Which, I mean, if this ends up being like brief graphic, is that what it says on there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
originally had NC-17. Huh.
Oh, bullshit. Everything has NC-17 these days. Maybe. Okay, there's one scene in there that I could believe it, but yeah, that's a heck of a swing. Gonna be a huge miss, and we'll be here to watch it and let you know how it goes. So, but hey, I don't know. Again, if this ends up being like the biggest surprise of the year, I'll bump it up to the biggest surprise of the decade, and I'll just eat my words and get a poster, put it in the background.
There we go.
There it is. That's what I'll do.
We got it. Wasn't it a Megan poster we had gotten?
We did get a free Megan poster, yeah, and I think we gave it away, didn't we?
Yes, we did. To the local horror community here in our town.
Yeah, that was wild because that was crazy how that happened. They had a Megan poster that was just like stuck. We were like getting our we were doing our out of the theater reaction.
Yep.
And there was just a poster just stuffed up in the side of the frame outside of like a theater, and we just saw it there. We just pulled it out. It's like a completely pristine Megan poster. It's like great, fantastic. So what's going on? Welcome. How's it going? Heard they're rebooting Invader Zim. Oh boy, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's gonna be okay.
My son loves Invader Zim.
I love Invader Zim.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about a reboot. I don't know. Is everyone returning?
That'll be the question. Are they going to do a limited season or whatever they do, like what they just did with like Malcolm in the Middle?
Oh, I haven't watched that yet.
Neither have I. I heard it was pretty okay.
It was average.
Fine. You know, they're all fine. There's nothing. Who knows?
I saw the first couple episodes. It was okay.
Loved
Not
it.
the same though, huh?
No, definitely
Never.
I've heard that from multiple people that it's like I heard it was also really short. Also, for some reason, it was like 4 episodes.
Yeah, didn't they take like a break? From where I hear it ended like on a we have to see what the second half of the season is going to be. I'm assuming. I don't know too much about it, but my sister watched it and told me. So
she spoiled it for you.
Yes, I asked her to.
Malcolm in the Middle will return in Avengers Doomsday.
That's what we're waiting for.
Alrighty, well, I guess we could probably pop into our final story for the show, and then maybe we can open it up for some possible conversation to wrap it all up here. But I know this is another one that's a long time coming, I would say, and this is a nice, fun update for it.
Yeah, very, very. Let's see here. One of horror's most beloved cult slashers is finally getting a sequel, and it's bringing one of the biggest icons of modern horror along for the ride. Behind the Mask 2, The Return of Leslie Vernon is set to explore what the slasher genre has become over the last 20 years, with David Howard Thornton stepping into a key role alongside the returning cast. The idea of Leslie Vernon confronting an era of legacy sequels, viral killers, and internet-fueled horror fame feels like the perfect evolution of the original film's meta-commentary. And with Art the Clown's actor now entering Leslie's world, fans can't help but wonder if this sequel is about to bridge 2 generations of horror icons. But the biggest mystery surrounding this sequel might be David Howard Thornton's involvement. Is he the fresh face this sequel needs to create some buzz after 2 decades?
I think this is a great idea. I hope it's a speaking role too. I know he just recently, I don't know what the movie was, but I heard he had a speaking role in something for the very first time. And yeah, this would be very cool because I think if he's as good with dialogue as he is with mannerisms and all the physical acting, Leslie Vernon, this whole franchise, it would be fantastic to see kind of the new, I guess you'd say brand new horror icon now getting to kind of, lampoon a bit, kind of like how it feels to me the same way that Robert Englund as the, Dr. Loomis stand-in in this movie. Like, it's just perfect. It just seems like it would fit nicely.
Yeah, I'm for it as well. David Howard Thornton's probably in modern times one of, if not the biggest horror name out there, just because of how big Terrifier has become. So to have him part of the cast here seems like such a natural fit, and I do think it's going to create a lot of buzz. They had a Kickstarter, and they got the funding. I think they got way over the funding amount for the film. So it's kind of like there's already a cult following for this. There's already a hardcore fan base to see the return of Leslie Vernon. So it's like to add David Howard Thornton to the mix, it is great because you're going to bring over some of that, like, I guess, cross-pollination of the Terrifier franchise to see David Howard Thornton. Because it's like, if you're part of any groups that follow Terrifier, they absolutely love David Howard Thornton. So it's like to be able to actually see him come over and have some sort of performance. I know people have talked about Art the Clown, and it's like, I don't think he's going to, in any way, shape, or form, portray that character. I don't think that's in the cards. But I think it could be really interesting to see what elements he's going to bring and what kind of story this is going to be. Because it's like, if you're familiar with the first one, we have that story of the final girl, and was pretty much the element here. But I love being away from this franchise or that first film for 20 years and to see how horror's changed. It's like if Leslie Vernon's taking a break and maybe there's an actual new killer in town played by David Howard Thornton and him like almost pursuing him, that could be funny. Trying to get his mojo back and kind of be, restore his name to be, he is the killer in this new guy. We have no room for him. Or it would be funny if they kind of, I guess, have some sort of connective tissue to Terrifier and say, Leslie Vernon's obsessed with this actor that plays a really gory kind of crazy clown. And it's like, he's going to get his autograph, but then is also like, hey man, I know you're a killer. And he's like, I'm not a killer. But then we find out that he is a killer. You know, it'd be a funny kind of nod to Art the Clown. I think there's so many different ways you could go for this.
I mean, what goes through my head is, and this is a minor spoiler for the first episode of Creep Tape season 2, but I mean, David Dastmalchian showing up with him there, I think that was perfect of him kind of like catching his copycat killer and like putting him to the test and stuff. That was super fun. I think like anything like that would be great. I'm very curious to see what the dynamic's going to be. Yeah, because like imagine that the first film, and it's been a little bit since I've seen it, but like it is very much playing on the whole, you know, I remember the moment everybody loves when you know, they have that like moment in the library, I think it is, when it's like she notices him and he's like staring at her, but she doesn't see him right away. It's like that's the kind of stuff like they're harkening back to things like Halloween and all these old movies with it. It's like to see him kind of have to reboot his own slasher in a sense and kind of amp things up, bring up the blood and gore. It's like that would be a really fun angle, I think, to see the Leslie Vernon character where he's just like, I'm just not about this. You know what I mean? Like he is very much the more classic Michael Myers from like the first Halloween type where he slashes, he takes away and hides kind of thing. So it's like, that would be a very fun dynamic.
Especially if you like look at it in, let's say, you know, they go with that aspect of it. And when you look at something like Halloween, as opposed to something like Terrifier, very, very different tone in terms of what you get with the horror from both those different franchises. But it would be interesting, like, you know, Leslie Vernon comes out and it's like, the beauty of that first film is the meta commentary where it's like, you know, he's planning the notes, he's planning certain things for her to look at so you can hit these horror beats. If, you know, he's been out of the game, whatever we want to do, and David Howard Thornton is this killer, but he's approaching it more so in a Terrifier version. And then Leslie Vernon's like, they have no respect for what old horror used to be, you know, almost this kind of old man that's like, okay, we got to get back to what made, you know, playing on that commentary that we see in our comments all the time, depending on what the film is that we review.
Oh yeah.
You can even look at Evil Dead right now, but it's like, you know, having that kind of commentary.
You can tell we spend a lot of time together. I was literally like, damn, I'm about to say, you could really see that with Evil Dead this weekend if you look at our comment section. So many people. I love you all. I do. Most of you. Some of you are very mean. But, you know, the thing about it is there's a lot of people who, you know, I get it. They feel like they have to say something, but it's like they just comment to say, I'm never watching. I haven't watched 2013 Rise. I'm never going to watch Burn. Evil Dead is only the three movies plus the series, and that is it forever. And it's like, I can only be like, all right, I feel you. Respect. I mean, I'm just not limiting myself to that. Like, sorry. Like, I don't know what to say to people like that. You know, it's like, damn. But yeah, this is going to be one of those that, like, I think has a potential. If all goes right, if they could tap into the viral like sensation of like because like I think that Behind the Mask, and you guys tell me in the chat if I'm way far off in thinking this, but Luke, I think that the Leslie Vernon, that has a tendency to be rediscovered by everyday audiences when this gets closer to coming out. If the hype builds and the word of mouth builds, I think that movie has so much heart to it and is so accessible because it is lampooning on classic horror stuff with sprinkling in some deep cut stuff, but not like being so inside baseball that like normal people can't. And I think it's funny enough, and I think the humor is still good enough that I really think this could be another big thing for horror, just because the comedy angle I think is going to be really special if they do it right.
Yeah, I think looking at Leslie Vernon, and I was late to the game on Leslie Vernon. I was aware of it, just never went and watched it. I had, you know, so many recommendations for it. And then when I did watch it, I was like, man, this is such a good film. But I think at the time, flew under the radar, still a small film for the time as well. So just kind of never got the eyeballs on it. But I don't know a person that doesn't. When you watch Leslie Vernon, I don't know anyone that doesn't like that film because it has such a handle on paying homage to iconic horror, but also coming from the angle of comedy, and it doesn't feel like they're trying too hard at all. It just feels like it's funny to watch them try and place everything that to create a very iconic horror beat that we see in a lot of 80s horror in terms of the slashers. So it's like it's funny to see him like run around off screen to try and build, it's like just showing up in front of his victim, like he's been slowly walking the entire time. I love those nods to it. And I think as this one, the buzz around this one starts, I think people will go back and watch that one because it's made for a general audience. If you watched horror films, everything that they're playing too, and they do it so well. They do it with that perfect mix where it doesn't feel over the top and it doesn't feel like they're trying too hard. So it's like I can have my fun with the horror elements, I can have my fun with the comedy elements, and it really does feel like it all meshes together in that actual story.
Agreed. I think that's it. We talk about it constantly. Like, it's a great story if it's good characters. That is what carries it at the end of the day. And again, like Terrifier 2 is a good example because they added a story, and that's what honestly made it more accessible for people. And it's like, as long as I do believe they can do it. I mean, we've seen people like this come back, especially for movies that are kind of culty like this. And they don't pan out, but I have a really good feeling about this. I just think like everybody who's involved already, how they're approaching it, it does feel like there's been enough time here that they could really, they could almost do a better job of like commentating on obviously like modern horror than like Scary Movie just did. Like that's where I'm sitting with this.
Yeah, and I think they will, just because of that marriage of comedy and horror where they tell a really fun horror story and it feels organic. So it's like we're not going to be bombarded with the comedy as long as they recreate that original formula, because that first film is so good, and I'm hoping they already have an intriguing story for this one. So it's like adding David Howard Thornton to your arsenal. I love Stream. I think it's a good film, but I remember coming out of that one thinking, we didn't really see that much of a difference from David Howard Thornton. It was like they put a mask on him, very Art the Clown-esque when we saw his movements and things. He didn't really have a chance to flex his muscles in terms of acting in what he can really do. So it's
for
like
as much screen time as he had, it was like more of a cameo than anything,
So it's like I'm very intrigued to see the texture that they can add to this and the aura of his character and what he's going to bring with this dynamic of Leslie Vernon. I really hope he's some sort of opposing force, because to watch him be this demented serial killer in some fashion that is having a rivalry with Leslie Vernon, whether he's aware of it or not, I think it could be a really fun dynamic and play into the comedy, but also presenting a lot of great horror.
I agree. And that's the thing, like I'm so eager to start like getting more into this. Like, I mean, having Nathan Beazle come back too for this, it's like I think him like being so committed to this character and this really being like his character, that's like, if you look at his filmography, it's not like the dude's, I'm not dogging on him or anything, but it's not like he's in like a ton of huge movies. So it's like this is truly his opportunity to play against somebody who is still kind of a rising star right now. I mean, we're basically at the point where we get to decide if David Howard Thornton is a one-trick pony or if he's, going to be able to do stuff after Art the Clown. And like, if he kills this, it's a very big step. And I think that could be a very good trajectory to be kind of looking out going forward for this. And again, this is another, we're talking about audiences, pre-existing things. This is another made by the people, for the people, by the fans, for the fans kind of movie. So they are really just becoming the norm. Like that is really just, they're taking over cinemas, which is great.
Yeah, to see something like this. I mean, it wasn't in the cards for me to ever think we were going to get a sequel to The Rise of Leslie Vernon, but I'm so excited that we're going to get it. And, like you said, funded by the people. And I have a feeling that we would not be talking about a sequel unless there was a case to be made for the sequel. So I really want to see what the story is going to be surrounding this, because there's a lot you can do here. And I'm hoping they take advantage of it. I'm going to be on the very positive end of this one, so I'm really looking forward to see what they can do, because I enjoyed my time with that first one so much and what they had to offer. So I'm hoping they can, especially being 20 years removed from the commentary in the horror space, it opens up the room to do a lot of funny stuff.
Yep. Again, let's hope that it pans out better than Scary Movie. Like, I thought Scary Movie was fine. I enjoyed it, but it's like this, especially with it being the kind of movie it is, it's like it's gonna need to bring all barrels fully loaded. So, like they gotta really hit it. Let me catch up with the comments here real quick, and then yeah, if you guys have any other topics, since that was our last on the dockets, that you want us to touch on, bring up, movies coming up, anything, feel free to drop it in the chat now, and we'll kind of touch on it here as I go through these. We're talking about Guar. Nice. Very cool. I
remember the first time that I saw that band was on Jerry Springer, and I was like, what are these costumes? I was a little kid.
Oh, they're amazing, right?
I was so obsessed.
It's like Kiss times 100. Like, the fact that they go into that and they've been doing it for so long is incredible. Army of Darkness, yeah, very much feels like Guar. So fun. He's been on like a bunch of stuff. I think Guar was on like the Eric Andre show a few years ago or something. Like, they have a lot of good stuff like that. Lots of great moments.
They work, is it right? They work with Adam Green, isn't it right?
They do, I believe so. Yeah. Won't watch anything politically motivated. Sorry, the dog. Won't watch anything politically motivated. Don't care who you make it, directed, etc. Screaming faces. All right. What do you like? Do you have a problem with like JFK and Lincoln and like Big Short? I'm trying to think of any other movie that does any. Zero Dark 30.
What about was it Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter?
Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, very good. That's a political movie, I guess, or a movie that deals with political I don't know what this even means. I'm not gonna lie, because it's like that's such a hard thing to like say. Because like if you really look at it, like and it just bugs me because it's like an argument I see all the time. Is like, why is every movie got to be political? It's like, I mean, really, at the end of the day, it's like politics is society, it's life. Movies are about life. It's like it's gonna cross sometimes. Like it happens. Yeah, there you go.
Get where he's coming from, man. Sometimes the politics are crammed down your throat, whether you like it or not. Oh, just like that. Just like that.
You know what I say to that, Adrian? I say, know your place and don't ever cross me. No, I'm kidding. I hear you. It can be tough, especially in these trying times. It is. It can be a little wacky sometimes with all that shit. So I guess I'll stay out of it. I hear you. I've been watching a lot of war and Western movies lately. Hell yeah. No, I mean I've been watching like some. I've been really deep in the 70s. I just watched a movie for a list coming up that just like absolutely blew me away. I love it, and I am trying to share it with everybody I can possibly talk to about it. I cannot wait, and it's honestly motivated me to maybe pursue doing a much bigger video. But I think that I'm gonna do that and maybe possibly put that on another channel, just because I don't think the algorithm here would like it, because it's not necessarily horror based, but the topic, I'll tell you too about it afterwards, at least because I don't want to spoil it now in case I end up delaying that or whatever. But I am super excited because this list is going to have some bangers on it. So lots of fun stuff there. Oh yeah, Adrian, what games are you playing upcoming? You got any ideas? Anything coming up?
To answer directly to the question, I actually haven't played anything recently. I got home from my honeymoon. I tried to play Arc Raiders, Marathon, Forza, a handful of other ones. I played Cyberpunk for like a minute, but just nothing's hitting right now, man. I don't know why. I think I'm just going through like a motivated time in my life, trying to, I don't know. But what am I looking forward to playing? That's a great question. I got a few different ones I'm wanting to get into. I'm really itching to get back into Dead Space, but it hasn't been that long since I played a sci-fi horror game. So I'm looking to hopefully switch it up. I've actually been talking lightly with Dylan about suckering both him and Luke into a multiplayer horror game on a stream soon. So
Hey, you don't gotta twist my arm on that.
I'm down.
I'm thinking
those will be fun.
I'm thinking Lethal Company. I heard Phasmophobia was also a multiplayer one. Am I incorrect in that assumption? Hold on, let me look that up. Is Phasmophobia multiplayer? Yeah. It's a 4-player online cooperative game. I love it. We got to hit some Dead by Daylight too, guys. We got a lot of different multiplayer horror games we could get into.
I was gonna say we might want to hit Dead by Daylight this year because they're not only introducing Terrifier, like they're putting Art the Clown in it later this year, but they just announced that they're releasing a new map that looks very cool. It's called The Mall, and it's apparently very Backrooms influenced.
Oh,
so
shit.
It's like there'll be like a center mall, but then obviously you're going to go into the back of the mall, like behind and get lost back there. So it seems pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, everything's going to be Backrooms focused right now. It's the biggest game ever, or the biggest movie ever. But like, I think that's a really cool idea. Honestly, like, as someone who does not play Dead by Daylight, the last few like showcases or updates that they've been doing have just been showing up on my YouTube feed or whatever.
Yeah, I've been getting some Dead by Daylight promo.
They got Scooby-Doo coming as like playable characters and all kinds of stuff. Like they're fucking crushing it with their collabs.
It's horror Fortnite.
Dude, it dead ass is. Like it's great. Like but there's been actually a couple of great play some Dead by Day. Absolutely. And that's right, Jason just got added too. So yeah, that might have to be done pretty soon, I think, because that one's also on Xbox too, isn't it? For Game Pass.
Dude, actually, I think it might be. I saw Necro mentioned OD. I saw the trailer for that. It looks nuts. I'm very excited. I'm also very happy that OD didn't get affected by all of the studio rumblings recently as well.
Yeah, just have a repeat of whatever the Silent Hill game was. The Fly is back. I don't even know. Oh, that's right. I have an open space. I'm like, he found his way back in. Bastard. But somebody on here, I do want to answer this because I did double check this. It was Rob.
Oh, yeah. Outlast
Favorite
Trial.
Western. All right. I got to be honest here. I've seen a lot of Westerns, especially over the last few years. It's a genre that I don't know why, but I love it to death. I have a lot of more fun answers than this, but if I'm going with my heart of hearts, these two already probably know what I'm going to say, but it is Django Unchained. I know, boring, Tarantino, whatever. That movie is so special to me. I still love that movie. It is still in my top 5 films of all time. Like, I think it is a beautiful piece of writing. I love the friendship, the acting, everything about it. Like, it's a movie that, like, it's one of those, it's like almost, it's pushing 2.5 hours. I put that on and it is like a snap. I love it. So that's what I'm going to go with.
I really love, Django Unchained. To not, copy this dude. I really also love 310 to Yuma. That's a classic.
Yes.
Watched that multiple times growing up. Hateful Eight was all right. No, okay. Hateful Eight was good, but it just wasn't as good as either of those movies, in my opinion.
I like Hateful Eight a lot. I just think it's a very different kind of movie. I think Hateful Eight has so much like in relation to The Thing too, which is kind of crazy. Like he literally like modeled that entire movie like off of that. Django works, hell yeah. And like if you want more interesting answer, like some of the one, I guess it's not that Bone Tomahawk, obviously. Fucking love that movie as far as modern westerns go. I mean, if we're going back into the like the ones I really like Once Upon a Time in the West is just an epic. As far as epics go, that's one that everybody knows about. The Dollars trilogy, I like that. One I want to see, it's been always recommended, is The Proposition from 2005. That's been on my list. I believe a few of you fellers in there have recommended that one a few times. So I got to get around to it. But Luke, are you not aren't actually big into westerns, are you?
No,
I feel
not
like
at
we've
all.
had this conversation.
Yeah,
many times.
I've dabbled.
We always
but
mean to, and I feel
Yeah.
like we never get around to it.
I'm not a big Western guy. I think, I love the feel of some of the Westerns, but sometimes it's hard for me to get into them, but I don't know necessarily if I've given them the biggest chance in the world. I'll say like something like Hell or High Water. It's kind of got a Western feel to it. Not like actually Western, but I think one that I saw in the theater that I was iffy on going to actually see it was Hostiles, and I was really impressed with that one. So,
Oh yeah,
um,
Hostiles was fantastic.
I thought that one was good, and it's more modern. I don't know what year that came out, but
2017.
okay, yeah, because I remember going to the theater and being iffy on it, and I was like, because I'm not a big Western guy, but then I was like, I was pretty impressed. It really did have me engaged, and I've always meant to go back and watch some of the more iconic Westerns. I just never do. So it's like, Bone Tomahawk would probably be an answer as well because it's got those horror elements to it as well. But yeah, I'm not a huge Western guy.
It's a shame. I'll have to. I got to get a couple over to you that I think will
okay.
really do it. Like I think my love for Westerns comes from like probably a few distinct places. One of them is honestly like a neo-Western kind of thing. Like I love movies like No Country for Old Men, Sicario, Hell or High Water, movies that are kind of like modern, like neo-Westerns, I think is what they call them. But like that, then Django, because Tarantino, obviously being a filmmaker kid, he's was my favorite for a while. So it's like, that came out perfect time for me to fall in love with. And then if I'm being completely honest, the Red Dead Redemption games, both Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2 especially have, I think they've had a profound effect on my generation as far as our appreciation for Western media. As not like culturally, I meant like old school Westerns, cowboy media. I feel like everybody who has played Red Dead Redemption 2 is like, that story is just chef's kiss. Amazing.
I liked, was it The Quick and the Dead? I remember watching that.
Oh, absolutely. Sam Raimi. Amazing. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And that's got a Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
It's not Gene
Hackman.
One of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Unforgiven is still, I know it's, we could probably go through many of the Clint Eastwoods, but Unforgiven is a great one for a late career turn for him. Is Bone Tomahawk a perfect movie? Rob, I want you to know I proposed this question, I think 7-8 months ago to Alex and Evan and Luke in I think one of our just random calls we were having together. It's like I started talking about that because I rewatched that before a list last year, and like just the writing of that movie is phenomenal. Like Bone Tomahawk is just so well written.
S. Craig Zoller, I mean,
what can we say? It's like, we'll get on it. We're saving it. We have a video coming. Dude, yes, actually, Mr. Boone, Eddington ruled as a modern Western. I would definitely say that's a neo-Western. It's got those feels. I think that movie's great. Yeah, Eddington is really good. I like that a lot. I liked it when I first saw it, but I watched it again just a few weeks ago because it was on HBO. And it's just one of those where it's like, I liked it more the second time. Like the story I thought was going to drag because I knew everything that was happening. But like, God damn, when that third act kicks in and what's happening as he's doing his thing and then trying to cover it up, it's fucking phenomenal. Like, amazing. Really good movie. And what is Ari Aster doing? Is he got another one?
I haven't heard anything. So
other than the possible Hereditary prequel?
Yeah. That's all we got, I think.
True. Yeah, let's see. Oh boy. Yep, nothing down the pipeline that I can see. But
wow.
I do.
Scapegoat.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. Is that with Scarlett Johansson? Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Hang on. There was one other story. Oh, you wanted to. We could touch on this a little bit. Do you mind if we talk a little bit about the Godzilla trailer?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're not going to get too deep into it. There's not that much there, but.
What do you mean?
It's 30 seconds.
It's Godzilla.
It's Godzilla, dude.
See, he got it. No, I hear you. It is 30 seconds, and they are teasing the hell out of us with this because I think the first preview we got was like 20 seconds, and it was just the logo. And then they're doing this, and it's like but I think they've done this for the last two as well. It took them forever. Like, I don't think we even really saw a trailer for like Godzilla -1 until like September, October, and it came out in November in the States.
Yeah.
Which is this going to be a global release? I forget.
That I'm not sure of.
So because I know, yes, it is awesome. So that's going to be
damn right.
Yeah, the very first time. Damn, they're really going all out for this one. So the very first time a Japanese produced film will ever be released in IMAX, as well as the very first time it will be released simultaneously around the globe. The first time a Godzilla movie from Toho will be released. That's insane. I love how far Big G has come. He's such a good boy. Have you, Adrian, have you seen Godzilla -1 yet?
Nope.
That should be up on your priority list before this one comes out, because this is
right.
I think you and Julie would absolutely love -1.
Bet.
It's a very, and I can say
we actually rewatched the 20, I can't remember what
Shin
year it came
Godzilla?
out. No, the one with Bryan Cranston in it, the first one.
2014. Yeah,
2014. Yep, we rewatched that in Cancun, and then somebody mentioned what's it called, like the robot movie, the Ex Machina. We also got to see that while we were over there.
Oh, have you never seen that?
No,
that movie.
Not till then.
It's a very good movie. I like it a lot.
It was a really cool ending.
Yeah, man, Alex Garland has some cool shit you should look at. Men, for one, if you've never seen a man being birthed like a Russian doll, that one's great.
Dude, and we saw Constantine with dude, it's
Penelope, don't do this to me. This has crossed our like lips probably since we started doing lists. We've brought this up several times. So is there enough that we could do a top 10, you think, for both of us, or do you think we'd have to maybe make it a smaller number and tackle it together?
We'd have to really look at it off the top of my head right now. I'd probably say it'd have to be probably like a 5.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm
it
sorry, and Penelope, you already know what the answer is going to be for number 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we could. It's like, we'll see. We could probably do.
We'll have to weigh every little
what
thing.
What we'll do is we'll do the Luke method of the first, like, we'll use that as the baseline, set it up so we can talk about it, so no one can get upset, no one gets mad at us, and if we're not mentioning the movie that's obvious to the list title, and then we'll go from there. So
yep. We recognize it so then we don't get a billion comments. We'll just get a million comments if that wasn't included in the list.
Luke's cheat code. Every video he tailors a little bit more to avoid comments about it. Like,
I know about the thing in the fly. I get it.
Every time, dude. Like, I have to I had to do that for my creature.
Too good.
My creature effect. Because, like, again, I say it every week. The people in here who watch our shit regularly, like, I know y'all do it. Like, I know y'all get it. You're not the ones doing it. But it's like every fucking list that ever goes about monsters, anything about it, it's like, how come you didn't bring up the thing or the fly? It's like, I know it's the greatest, guys. We know. But there's other shit. Like, if I could make the same video over and over again sometimes, and I feel like people would just be so satisfied with it.
It's funny that we're discussing like deeper cuts, and then someone brings up the thing or the fly as if we had never. We've seen something so obscure from the 80s.
Those are the ones that really get
the big juggernauts of the 80s. Yes, that makes sense.
Sometimes it feels like rage bait because it's like they just belittle us because we didn't bring it up, and it's like, you guys are not horror fans, you don't know shit, you got blah blah blah. It's like, oh no. What Dusk Till Dawn movies of Western horror? I've only watched that the first. Damn, that's another one. That we'll get to it. We'll figure it out because I'm trying to like think about movies that are like, I mean, if you watch my videos, my solo videos, you know I stretch horror quite a bit. I go into a lot of different dramas and things and try to justify it. So, have you guys ever seen the thing? No, 420.
Only the 2011 one.
The 2011 one and the unofficial remake, the Swedish remake of The Fly.
That's it. That's all that matters, really.
Can we get just like a bloody bottle, bloody body muscle bodybuilder from hell? Like, can we get a version of that, but the Fly?
That'd be fantastic. What's that look like?
He's crawling around up there. He's got little fly wings on.
And he's
What
just
about?
got 2 dumbbells.
Have you guys heard of this indie director, John Carpenter? No, I have not. You guys are killing me. I want to see. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, that guy, if he wanted to, and he probably still could, he could be a producer. He could literally just be spending his days sweeting, just making, Japanese low rent versions of like popular classic horror films, and I would watch every single one. Like, if it was as fun as that movie was, that is one that maybe for Patreon eventually we'll have to circle back and get Adrian to watch. I know it's only an hour, but like, yeah, we should definitely get his reaction to that. I think he'd have such a blast with it. You and Julie would probably love that. The Japanese Evil Dead.
You did bring that up recently. I gotta check that out.
See, I almost was like, wait, have you guys seen Sweet Home, Japanese film with Dick Smith effects from? No, I have not.
This sounds good.
Penelope, the problem I have is that you're one of our most loyal and best fans. I love you to death, but you every week suggest a new movie that I have to put on a list because I have not seen it.
Why is
it's becoming a problem?
Gems? Like,
yeah, Penelope should make some hidden gems lists for real. Because, like, I swear to God, like, whether it's between Patreon or the channel or here, it's like she's always pulling up stuff, or they're pulling up stuff that's just like, I've never heard of it. It's amazing, and I'm like, man, come on. But I know a few of you in here who like to blindside us with stuff. Kim does that a lot too. Rob, everybody who's, I'd say almost all the regulars in here have made it on my list of watches or coming soon eventually here. Like, I literally have a little notepad on my computer here that's just full of lists from every Sunday Scaries. Oh, I think so. It's based on a video game too. Oh, that's right. This is the movie, huh?
I'm gonna have to watch this.
That is cool. I remember hearing about this, but I didn't remember the title. That is awesome.
I wish we would have known about this. Well, this could be a watch along at some point.
For
Resident Evil.
Yeah. Well, Penelope, I think you just I think you've just sealed our fate.
That's going to be our thing.
That's
a coinciding Japanese film that is reminiscent.
Every time a new franchise film comes out, yeah, I love it. Let's do it. Honestly,
new angle.
I did really have fun making that list, and I know we couldn't do it for every franchise, but like some of those like older ones, especially if they start rebooting things like unofficial Friday the 13th, I'm sure there's stuff out there that we could find. Like,
yeah.
But like, again, I don't know if you're ever going to get as good as like Evil Dead, just because that is so broad in its like formation as a franchise itself. I feel like once you start getting to things like Friday the 13th or something, it might be like too streamlined, too connected. Like, I don't know. I mean, we could look for it, but I think that list that'll forever be one that I'm just like very proud of. So
yeah, I think that was a fun one. There were some really fun picks. Like, I'm always going to say, I've always looked for an excuse to talk about Night of the Demons. Being able to put it in that list was fantastic for me.
Because I had a feeling, because like when I sent that to you, like I had just swapped driving with Haley, or no, I was just getting back in the car to drive on our way down to Tennessee when I sent you that text about it, and I was like, this seems like it'll be a fun idea. And then I think like when I swapped to like her to drive the last leg, you had sent me a couple of picks, and Night of the Demon and Deadstream were on there, and I was just like, I didn't even fucking think of these. Like, these are perfect. So it's like it was just so great. I really want to watch Night of the Demons as well because I've never seen it. It's wild, dude. There's a sequence with a lipstick.
Oh boy,
it's crazy. It's wild. I really wanted that to be, because like if you guys have noticed on the lists, I've been at least on my ones here and then the Evil Dead one, just because it's I like the format of doing the little clip with the title in there. I really wanted to use her pushing the lipstick like into her breast, because like that is such a crazy scene, and I always want to try to use like an iconic scene from that for the opener. And it's like that one is just you see that and you're like, what the fuck? I have to know what's going on here. Like, this is insane. And yeah, I mean, the demons in that movie are basically deadites. So
Yeah, and Demon Stooge for me is like horrifying.
oh yeah,
It's always been horrifying as a kid, and then even when I'm still unsettled when I see him on screen, even today.
Stephanie, Night of the Demon is definitely a you movie. I think you would have an absolute blast with that. It's always on Tubi. I think it's even on YouTube here. There's probably a couple things, but yeah, it's got. Yep, I was just about to say, Linnea Quigley is in it as well. So you got some horror alum in there. It was good. That was probably next to Japanese Evil Dead. That was probably the most fun I had with this list as far as rewatches go, because everything else I'd kind of seen recently. And then I guess The Mummy afterwards was good, but like, yeah, it's overall that was a lot of fun. So
it was a good mix. And Deadstream is like, it took me forever to get around to that film, but being able to watch it for this was fantastic.
It is a good flick, and the effects in that are just so wild. It blows my mind that was such a small budget movie. Absolutely, of course. I really think you.
That's how it goes for me. Never did me wrong.
Oh, I appreciate it. I was gonna say, and it's not just us. I mean, you got Robert here, love Night of the Demons. There's a lot of love for it. I mean, it's just a fun one. Admittedly, I've only seen the remake. There was like 2 sequels, wasn't there?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's just 2.
Yeah, so it's like
and they remade it. I think
I've seen the remake. I didn't see the.
I've never seen the remake.
Yeah, the remake.
I think it's got Edward Furlong in it. Is that right?
Uh-huh.
I think okay, because I think I've seen it played on like Sci-Fi, and I was like, no way.
So funny enough, it was one of those movies where my dad he like saw the original, I think, when he was younger. So it was like kind of like him with Hell Night and Funhouse and stuff. He was like, "This is a crazy movie. You would love it. Let's check it out." So I hadn't seen that yet, but he had been talking about it. And when the remake came out, he rented it from Netflix. So I think I watched the remake first, but then watched the other ones so like quickly afterwards. So it's like, and they're very different, but they do remake a couple of the iconic sequences. So I got them a little crisscrossed for a few years until I rewatched the original, like as an adult, and was able to be like, okay, it's all making sense now. And I will say that the remake, from what I can recall, was not terrible, but like I can't say going back to it with Edward Furlong. I don't know. Like I could have been a child who didn't know any better. So there you go. That's that. Go at your own risk is what I'll say. Love Night of the Live. There you go. And they are ridiculous, but not as gross as the original. True. Yeah. I've seen Night of the Demons 2 recently.
I haven't seen any of the sequels to Night of the Demons. I've only
neither have I.
I'm curious because I love sequels, so might have to watch at least number 2.
Yep, Luke is our sequel slut. So
sequel slut. That was not what I thought I was going to hear tonight, but I'm never going to forget it. Thank you.
Bro has found the most random like number 2s in franchises that shouldn't work but do. Like the claim to fame will always be for me is Psycho 2. This man's like, you got to watch Psycho 2. It's phenomenal. And I'm like, I doubt it. Like, there's no fucking way Psycho 2 is going to be, and it's great. I love it.
I brought it up on the stream. I will always remember when I went looking for that at when you were working at the Exchange, and whoever you're working with laughed when I was like, Psycho 2? And like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's a title that just screams like
terrible
money. Like we're doing this for the check, you know what I mean? But it's a good flick, and like you said, I have not read the book, but you did say the book was good too, or at least the story that it was like they were kind of adapting there.
I want to talk about Fright Night Part 2 at some point, because I think it's getting a 4K release after years upon years of not having an actual release. But I really enjoyed that flick too. So
yeah, I know we'll get there. We'll find an
excuse. At some point.
We'll fit it in somewhere. Psycho 2 was cute. Yep. There we are. I think I just want to double check because I think there was one other small story that I just thought about and then forgot. So give me 2 seconds to carve through here real quick, and then I think we'll call it up. Well, fuck you, Adrian. All right.
Okay. I'm down. I mean,
hold on. Where is it at? I thought it was. Oh yeah. This is like a nothing story, but
Yes.
I did want to.
Night of the Demons 88, not the remake.
There we are. I did want to highlight this real quick. I didn't know if we had stories or not around this, so I didn't mention it. But Mike Flanagan's Carrie is going to be showing some footage at Comic-Con, along with Blade Runner 2099 and all these other shows. So it's like that's going to be cool. It is. I thought it was like the 17th, isn't it? So it's like this Friday, or like it's coming up. I'll just look for it. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that. So we should have a like trailer feasibly within the next 2 weeks or so. So if that pops up, I guess maybe we'll put a poll out or something. But if you guys want, since we have been doing some of these like kind of, like off the whim trailer kind of reaction things. I mean, I think Luke and I would totally be down to, cover that, give you guys our thoughts, feelings on that, since it might be a pretty big one for us this year. So
yeah, 100%, man. And I love the original Carrie. Sissy Spacek in that is fantastic. So I'm curious to see what this take's going to be. I'm certainly excited for this one.
All right, so we got 2 weeks. It's July 23rd through the 26th. So
okay.
Yeah, we got a little bit of time, but like it'll be here before we know it. So yeah, Matthew Lillard's in this. Like it's an all-star cast, man. Like I'm looking forward to it. So I think this will be a good one. Let's see. Hey pals, first time watching the stream, but long time channel viewer. A good time, and thank you. Well, thank you, Dusk, for sticking with us, man. Thank you. I hope you'll pop in every once in a while here. Well, I guess I need to watch all my Carrie movies. There you go. Yeah, I've that's another one. I've not seen Rage or whatever that one was called.
Oh yeah, the Rage or whatever.
I've never seen the remake either from like 2013 or whatever.
Yeah,
my sister went and saw that. She said it was awful. And I was like,
yeah,
okay, I'll take
the only one worth watching is the original.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only one I've seen. It's got Sissy Spacek, John Travolta. It's all good stuff here. But we all know the superior high school Stephen King property is Christine. So
I love me a good Christine.
It is a good flick. I agree, Rob. Well, I think that is gonna wrap us up because yes, I am very tired. I can see the gentlemen over here are also losing some steam.
You're gaslighting us, bro.
Yeah, what's going on here?
You've been so damn lippy this episode. I'm gonna have to.
You have to belt me.
I'm gonna write you up. We're implementing
it's another stream
work stuff now. But no, it's definitely gonna be a couple of busy weeks coming up. I mean, we're not gonna have like a big release like Evil Dead this month. I think, at least in the horror community, other than like a couple of smaller releases, and then Fantasia. But with that, and then just a couple of the videos we're working on, I mean, I'm really, really excited about this next one I got coming for you guys on Friday. Luke's Gems list is going to be out, I think, Tuesday, Wednesday-ish. We're going to kind of see.
Shooting for Wednesday, I think.
We have a surprise for you guys tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. And yeah, it's it. So it's gonna be fun. And then Adrian will be back up on his streams here shortly with some plans, some game plans, and you might even see Adrian making a couple lists for us here over the next few weeks. We're going to kind of get him in the mix, and it's going to be fun. So, yeah, we'll be back here again next Sunday. As always, we're back on, guys. This is our, I should say, we're doing the, we're returning with the full regalian here. We got Adrian back. Everything's back. All the Infinity Stones are in place. So we're golden now. We can do the snap. So, all righty. With all that said and done, we thank you all. We appreciate you. Thank you for sticking with us, buddying around with us, talking some horror news. Hot take. I hate Lee Cronin's. Why are you doing this? We're trying to have a good night. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. It's fine. All righty. Yeah, that's going to wrap us up here, guys. Till next time, I'm Dylan Newell.
I'm Luke Janesco.
I'm Adrian Morris-Jones.
And remember, stay scared.
Do the horror shit, gonna do it live. Cause Splattercast kick it every day they live. Splattercast, 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 Splattercast. Splatter cash, gonna smash your ass.